everybody.
Hi.
Your comments had us cracking up before
Oh my
we
God.
were live. We were on here and laughing. So, hello, everybody. How's it going? Oh, we have a lot to talk about. How's everybody doing? Check in. Thank you for all the reminders to like both of the streams on both of our channels.
Thank you.
And make sure that you're subscribed to both channels as well. If you would, please and thank you. I redid my hair today. Actually, my oldest did. We dyed my youngest.
Love it.
Thank you. You can still see the blue.
It adds dimension.
There's a little dimension. Thank you. I blacked out when I was doing makeup today, so I don't know really what happened there, but we're here.
I don't know if you should admit that in public.
Maybe not, but it lives on the internet now.
Can't hide now.
Rated. Thank you, everybody, coming from DC's channel. We appreciate y'all. Just make sure raid both channels, please and thank you. So, it's been a while since we've done a live stream, Katie, and we had a grand old time last time.
That's true.
Yeah. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Erin Beese. Wife, mom, military veteran. I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out. And now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing and the tactics used by their reps. This is my friend, Katie.
I am Katie, and I have Erin's intro memorized in my head.
I was laughing at this.
I'm saying it in my head. But hi, I'm Katie. I currently work in higher ed, but have a biology degree and like to be a science nerd, and that's where I come into play a lot. I also stream on Twitch and play video games and things.
So go follow her on Twitch as well.
It's Katie with 4 A's, because Katie with 1, 2, and 3 was already taken.
Is that why you have 4 A's?
Yep. I refused to give myself numbers, so I just kept adding A's.
Makes sense. Yeah. Avery Joe says, we all have Erin's intro memorized.
Right.
All right. I think you guys all know why we're here. And Katie and I have gone back and forth with notes and questions and research, along with a lot of Discord members and those of you that have reached out, whether it was to Katie or myself or anybody else with information. I just want to take a second and say thank you guys so much for sending the information. I also want to give a major shout out to Jane Marie at the Dream Podcast, because she is actually the one that connected me with the lab. That would not have been possible without her sending the information. And so I definitely, if you've not listened to the Dream Podcast, you should. Incredible. So, yeah. Where do we start? I have notes actually for tonight. Can you guys believe that? It's nuts.
Shocking. Us being prepared?
I know. Can you
Never.
So I think the first thing that Katie and I want to talk about... Wait. I genuinely hope that a bunch of Pruvit promoters are secretly watching this, and I'm talking to you. You deserve better. Yeah. I hope that they are, honestly. Yep. I really do. And that's not me, like, I'm not being snarky. I mean, genuinely, I hope they are watching anti-MLM content, because I was in that company. So, yeah. I think it's important that we set the intentions. This stream tonight is not to cause mass panic or hysteria or anything like that. We want to come with statistics and data and research and information. I don't know. You want to add to that at all, Katie?
I mean, yeah, it's very much being shared from both sides. Like, it's very straightforward. The good, the bad, everything. It's very transparent.
Yeah. I love that. So, if you've not watched or seen the articles, the first thing that I want to do, honestly, is share the behind MLM articles, just kind of like a deep dive, if you will. So I'm going to share my screen really quick, and we're going to go through this article. There's a reason that I'm doing this. I know we're all here for the results. I have the results. We're going to go over them, but I want to make sure that everybody is in the know with the whole story, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, this is the Behind MLM article. If you don't check this website out, you should. It's incredible. This is dated from February 22nd, 2023. And I'm not going to read all of this, but if you would like this link, here it is. I'll put it on both channels. I'll also put it in the video description. But basically what this is they being Pruvit, have been given several notices, according to this article, notifying them that they are not within the standards of Proposition 65 out of California. If you have been a part of Pruvit, I was in, and I remember around 2020 was when they started to put the disclaimer for the state of California, saying that I think it's specifically with lead on the labels, and it wasn't really discussed. They put some kind of disclaimer information on their website, but it really wasn't, from what I remember. If you guys do and you were a part of Pruvit, let me know. But from what I remember, I don't remember them really addressing it. Just, oh, it's something we have to do to sell ketones in the state of California, kind of thing. So, Katie, you want to talk a little bit about Proposition 65 from what you know about it?
Yeah, so Prop 65 pretty much limits all different types of toxins. Like, things can be added to the list any year, and it lists why it's added. So is it because it's affecting female reproductive health or male reproductive health, or it's a carcinogen, or all these different things, and it lays out much more stringent limits on these things than anything that's like federal or any other state. So to be in compliant with Prop 65 pretty much means you're compliant with everything else everywhere. But there's new lists of things added to it every year. Kind of like if you know of the European list of things that like can't be in cosmetics and stuff like that. It's very similar to that, sometimes in the length of what it is.
Thanks, friend, for explaining that. I appreciate
it. I spent a lot of time on their website this week.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing a ton of research. So the Environmental Research Center, Inc. bills itself as a nonprofit corporation organized under California's Nonprofit Public Benefit Corporation Law, whose mission is to safeguard the public from health hazards that inspect families, workers, and the environment. So this is the people that were notifying Pruvit that, hey, you are not complying with these standards and you're selling product in the state of California. So these are the 60-day notices. These are all of them. And I'll cover all of these because I do think that it's important because of what we're talking about here. All of ERC's 60-day notices filed against Lacour Enterprises, that's the company that owns Pruvit, pertaining to lead contamination. So the first one was from June 5th of 2020. This is specifically lead found in keto, OS, NAT, PTKs, Swiss cacao. The second one, also Pruvit, filed July 2nd, 2020, and this is for lead found in lime thyme. The third one was from December 22nd, 2020, and this is from lead found in Maui Punch, raspberry lemonade, splash, heart tart, and caffeine-free heart tart. The fourth one was from March 9th, 2021. Lead found in True Passion, caffeine-free lime thyme, True Passion charged, caffeine-free Maui Punch, splash caffeine-free, and raspberry lemonade caffeine-free. The fifth one is for another company that Lacour owns called Euphoria Science, and it was found in Happy Tides, acai, and citrus nucleotide drinks and this was filed September 15th, 2022. There's another one, number 6, Euphoria, filed October 6th, 2022, and this is for the same product, it looks like, in a different flavor. Happy Tides in cacao nucleotide drink, and Happy Nutritional Science Systems Earth Essential Health Beverage Island Pina Colada. Good Lord, that is a mouthful. Who named that? My God. And then the 7th was from Clue in Euphoria Science, filed November 4th, 2022. Lead found in Happy Tides, acai, citrus, and cocoa nucleotide drink varieties. So Lacour Enterprises has been served since 2020, listed here 7 different times for multiple products within Pruvit, Euphoria. I don't know if Clue is, I don't even know if that's how you say that, but there's the information for that. So things get a bit sketchy here, owing to filed complaints being at the state level and the use of self-reporting on California's AG website. The first complaint dates back to the first June 5th 60-day notice. The complaint was filed on August 17th, 2020. 79 docket entries, and 2 years later, ERC was awarded a $400,000 judgment on June 22nd, 2022. Stipulated judgment entered for plaintiff ERC Inc., aka a California nonprofit corporation, against defendant Pruvit Ventures Inc., defendant Lacour Enterprises LLC, and it lists all of the defendants. On 9/24/2021, for the principal amount of $400,000 for a total of $400,000. The California AG's website also lists a complaint filed for ERC's December 2020 Pruvit complaint. I wasn't able to find any information on the case. And then as we scroll down here, cases 2022-02182 from September 2022 and another case from November 2022 were individually settled for $37,500 each, $11,300 civil penalty, and $26,200 in legal costs. This brings the total cost of Lacour Enterprises lead contamination to $475,000 so far. Apart from the amount, the money side of Lacour Enterprises lead contamination issues isn't particularly interesting. What's worrying is the contamination occurred in supplements intended for regular consumption, and that's something that Katie and I are specifically going to talk about. Probably more Katie than for me. She's the science buff. She's the science expert, in my opinion.
I try.
So lead contamination is toxic, or lead is toxic to humans. It can affect people of any age or health status. The FDA monitors and regulates levels of lead in foods, including dietary supplements and cosmetics. We're also going to touch on that a little bit as well, because it was really difficult to find the standards. And from what I have been told, it's kind of like one of those things where the FDA is like, here's the standards, but we leave it up to the company to do the right thing. So that part is a little bit frustrating. While it's not possible to prevent or remove lead entirely from foods, the levels in foods can be reduced. For adults, chronic lead exposure is associated with kidney dysfunction, hypertension, and neurocognitive effects. Cancer, birth defects, and reproductive harm are other commonly cited side effects. The FDA classifies 15 micrograms of exposure to lead a day to pose no significant risk. Proposition 65 sets a much lower 0.5 microgram daily limit. While we know ERC found more than 0.5 micrograms per intended daily serving of Lacour Enterprises products, the exact amount found hasn't been disclosed. This is why I wanted to have them tested so that we know, and we'll get there, I promise. Let's see, is there anything else from this? Hang on a second. Considering Lacour Enterprises manufactures not only a wide range of supplements for their own companies, but also white label supplements for third parties, hopefully they by now eliminated the source of lead contamination. So that's the first one. And then this is another one that I want to mention. I'm going to put the link in the comments, and I'll also put it in the video description. This is actually a class action lawsuit that is currently happening. Let me screen share real quick. You're typing away, friend. What are you typing? What are you doing? I love it.
I'm responding to chat while you talk about all this awesome stuff. Jeez. Let me do my thing. Gosh.
I want to respond to the chat.
No. You can't respond to the 620 people watching.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
I told you.
By the way, I like both streams. Please and thank you.
And lick 'em. I hear they're heavy metal flavored tonight.
I was not ready, ma'am.
Someone else made that joke. I stole it.
So this is a class action lawsuit that's happening right now. Pruvit sued for the use of petrochemical-derived flavoring. This was filed June 5th of this year. This article is dated June 18th, also from behindmlm.com. And basically what this one is about, Pruvit claims its products contain no artificial flavors. The front of the label says no artificial flavors. These natural flavoring claims are false. The products are flavored using an artificial flavoring, malic acid, that is derived from petrochemicals. So the malic acid is listed in Maui Punch, Heart Tart, Blueberry Acai, Hibiscus Lemonade, and Berry Blue. These are some of their most recent flavors. While there is an extremely expensive naturally occurring form of malic acid, Lozano claims, that's the person that is behind the class action lawsuit, naturally occurring form of malic acid, Lozano claims results from a third-party lab confirmed Pruvit's malic acid was synthetic. This type of malic acid is manufactured in petrochemical plants from benzene or butane, components of gasoline and lighter fluid, respectively, through a series of chemical reactions, some of which involve highly toxic chemical precursors and byproducts. And summing up the lawsuit, Lozano states Pruvit uses the petrochemical-derived malic acid in its products to create a sweet and tart flavor, but pretends otherwise, conflating natural and artificial flavorings, misbranding the products and deceiving customers. So Lozano is saying, she's alleging that it's a violation of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. So those are the legal cases that are going on. And again, I'll provide the links to those in the video description for both channels. Kind of crazy. I don't know, Katie, what do you think about that? And then I'll catch up in the chat.
I mean, I love things that are gasoline flavored. It's really my favorite. So
they should make a Diet Dr. Pepper that's gasoline flavored.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. / sarcasm. Yeah, there's just like a lot of stuff that I think they haven't publicly addressed that I think needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Everything else in my head we'll get to with the results.
We will get to it. Can I ask you guys a favor? Whether or not we have people that we are speculating in the chat could be somebody in Pruvit or somebody, sounds like let's not do that in the chat, please. Let's not, go after people that are commenting things. That's not the purpose of this live stream. I know why you guys are doing it. But I don't want that to be the place for this. So if any of the moderators see anything like that, please feel free to put that person in timeout, because I just don't want that here. If Courtney Shortney or anybody else is watching this, under a fake account or whatever, that's welcomed. So this is about getting the information out. This is about the research. This is about all of that stuff. And so they're welcome to be here.
Yep.
If things get crazy, the moderators will take care of that, I'm sure. So let's just not attack anybody in the comments, please and thank you. Whether it's intentional or not, let's just not do that.
That goes for me too, Bex, so feel free to time out anyone if you need to.
And shout out to all the moderators. We appreciate you guys.
Y'all the best.
Okay. this is the website. Oops, I already have it pulled up. This is the website where we were able to find, somebody shared with me that does like legal research. And so this is where we found, what am I clicking on? Good
I
Lord.
honestly couldn't tell you.
Me neither. But this is the website that lists the standards. And this is through the, hold on, let me click out of this. This is through the ecfr.gov website, and it states here under section 4, which can be found under subpart B, food preservatives, and it's section 172.105, and it's specifically number 4. Heavy metals as lead, not more than 10 parts per million. Arsenic, not more than 3 parts per million. Mercury, not more than 1 part per million. So those are the standards. And again, I'm going to provide the source for that in the comments, and it will also go in the video description so that everybody has access to that. Okay, that being said, let's get to the results. Katie, do you want to go over the results and kind of explain them?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So here they are, guys.
So, as you can see, sample 1 is the newer stuff that's like in the bag. Sample 2 and 3 were like more measured out, right? So sample 3 is the one that everyone wants to know about because it's the max formula. And DC, yes, I will be getting to that part. So as you can see, the lead is the third one down in each one of these lists, that it is very different from sample 3 to sample 1, which means the reformulation did something. So yay, it was reformulated. It wasn't just a repackage of something older. So based on some maths, I think it would need to be double that, DC. You would need to have about 12 and a half servings a day for it to be above the daily limit. I can't remember if it was Prop 65 or what the FDA told us. It was something for like, it was 8.8 micrograms or whatever. So the normal person would not hit that. And know that when we're taking into account daily servings and like daily limits, it's daily for a reason. So it's taking into account the half-life of these things. It's taking into account the buildup of these things. And it's taking into account the daily user, the normal person. So if you're having 2 or 3 6 of this max every day, you're probably fine from my unprofessional opinion as a non-medical professional. Now, if you're having 6 of these and you're doing this on the live and you're having all these other ketone products that we have not tested from Pruvit, then maybe you should consider looking into this more. Maybe there should be other things that need to be tested, especially if you took things where they've got those 60-day notices for Prop 65. That's when there should probably some little more concern to get tested, especially if you're having any kind of symptoms that could be related with heavy metal poisoning. So while no matter what you're taking heavy metals and there is going to be a level of poisoning because it's a toxin, that does not mean you're going to get sick. So I will be honest, these results were not as shocking to me as I thought they were going to be. As someone who also lived through the paparazzi testing,
Yeah.
I was more scared at that and not ingesting it, just being in its vicinity versus something you could ingest. So while yes, it accumulates in the body over time, and
That was going to be my question.
yeah, it accumulates over time, it builds up, but at the same time things are building up, things are being broken down at different levels. So if you like up the ante in what you're taking, then yes, that could have an effect, but you need to have a fairly significant amount for that to take effect, and it needs to be daily. So if you have one day that you took 15 servings of max, and then every other day of your life you had one, you're just like went out on a kick that one day, you're more than likely fine. My unprofessional suggestion is that if you were a promoter during this time for an extended period of time and you were doing all these lives and all this stuff and you have had something that is a symptom of heavy metal testing or heavy metal toxicity.
Yeah.
If you've had symptoms of those, you should probably get tested. Just like, I assume people like Jesse Lee Ward have had this test as part of their cancer stuff. So it's one of those things that if you start to have these severe symptoms and these severe things, usually heavy metal testing is something that's considered. So while these results aren't the best, like it's showing us that they did reformulate, there was more lead in there than probably should have been. There is some feeling of like, okay, because it's not that bad.
I was expecting way worse, to be quite honest with you.
Way worse.
However, excuse me, I personally...
It's not great.
It's not great, but it definitely could have been worse, especially anybody that watched the paparazzi stuff. My concern is, one, that these products are being given to children. So, you know, an adult and a child, there's going to be different standards, and the FDA does do a lot for preventing lead toxicity in infants and so on, and they have a lot of information out there. So my concern is these products are being given to children, and I worry about that. And this is just my opinion. This is just how I'm feeling, having been a part of this company before. My concern is the amount of products, just like Clowntown, I pinned this comment here, is the accumulation when you are stacking all of these products in one setting multiple times a day, when you're attending events and you're taking in large quantities of these products, trying to keep your energy up and, you know, all of those things. That is my concern, because even though on Pruvit's ketones, on the label, it says 1 to 2 times a day, if you've been a part of this company or you watch somebody in Pruvit, they're typically not, in my opinion, and based on my experience, they're typically not just taking one product. They'll mix, you know, the ketones or 2 ketones. There were times when we would mix 2 packets of ketones, MCT 143, the electrolytes, you know, and we've all seen the different combinations. And so my concern is the accumulation of the possible heavy metals over a long period of time. These are the people that I'm thinking of, you know,
Yep.
not the average consumer that is taking maybe 1 or 2 packets a day. I'm talking about somebody that is mixing up 3, 4, 5 different products from Pruvit. We haven't tested all of them, obviously. But what does that look like 5 years from now? That's my concern. And so if that is you, if you are watching and you've been a part of the company for some time, and just like Katie said, if you're experiencing symptoms, it might be worth it to take these lab results, which I can provide to you. Just message me, or I'll figure out a way that I can provide these for everybody that needs them. And maybe go to your doctor and ask for a pregnancy. I just read pregnancy. A heavy metal panel. I also am concerned about this. People that are pregnant, and a lot of these distributors will say that it's safe for pregnancy. We don't know that, you know. So also thank you for this, and thank you for all the super chats. I know that I've seen several. My concern is the people that have consumed large quantities of these, that I know because I used to as well, that may or may not be experiencing symptoms that maybe are not correlating it to something like this. I'm not saying that this is what's causing it, but that's where my concern goes.
So a couple things, because StreamYard isn't letting me click comments. One, I don't know why. DC asked if someone has a gene mutation that makes it more difficult for your body regarding metal metabolism, would these results become more problematic? Yes. If you have any genetic predisposition to really any metabolic or potentially autoimmune concerns, then that's definitely something to maybe consider more, because your daily limit could be a lot lower for that. Rainy Cannon asks, should a product like this have lead to begin with? Every product really does. Just by pure existence, there's going to be some trace amounts. That's why, like, even some of these, like, if you look at the mercury, just because it doesn't meet the detection limit doesn't mean there's not anything in it. There's just something less than that. So these 4 things taken en masse are bad, but taken in little bits, the body has evolved in some way to take care of it. And then my friend Danielle put it best.
Yeah.
You can eat a paint chip for a day, you'll be okay. If you eat a paint chip every day, then you might have some problems. So if you think about that with lead paint and how much they've been concerned about that with children and developmental and reproductive health, that it's the same kind of thing. You take a little bit, you're probably going to be okay. You take a lot, you probably should go see a doctor.
Yeah. And again,
not going around licking lead pipes and stuff.
Yeah. If you are having symptoms, and maybe let's look up.
Karina put especially the acute symptoms, the abdominal pain, chills and a low body temperature, dehydration, diarrhea, feeling weak, nausea or vomiting, scratchy feeling in your throat, numbness or prickly sensation in your hands and feet. That's what you're going to feel when you very immediately have it. The long-term effects of heavy metal testing can show up as various different symptoms and illnesses that you don't know about, including things like cancer and digestive issues, issues with liver. It can be kind of a thing that triggers other things far down later in your life. Kind of with a lot of different metals, you see this with a lot of engineers from the 80s and 90s, that they were just spraying Freon on their hands for fun when they were building electronics, and now you're like, you know what it looks like in a lab these days, where you're covered in things and you have gloves and all this stuff. Like, my dad would just spray stuff around. Later on down the road, was that what causes kidney cancer? I think it was. Yeah. So you never know, but if you feel like you've had those symptoms, or you really did take it 12 servings of something a day for years, it might be worth checking.
Yeah. And I think we've kind of touched on this, but I also think that it's important to just mention also concerning that you can add it on top of all the normal lead that you consume. And, I agree with that. And I think this is where it comes down to people's tolerance levels and what their body can process. Just in my opinion, obviously I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice. Please seek, medical advice if you are having any kind of symptoms. I'm going to say that over and over again throughout this. I'm not doing this live. We're not doing this live to try and scare anybody. It's just a place where we can bring information. So if you're having symptoms, please go see a doctor. But hopefully this is giving us the answers that we were wanting, because for the amount of the heavy metals to not be disclosed, and I know Pruvit's not required to do that. They're not required to do any of that. I wanted to know, after reading some of those articles and seeing some of the lawsuits, I wanted to know. And so shout out to everybody that contributed to the fundraiser to have these ketones tested. Shout out to everybody that shared, that commented, that watched, that interacted. All of that was really, really important, because us coming together to get this answer for us, I think, is really powerful. So will we test other stuff? I don't know. Should we? Do y'all want to?
And even if, like, this isn't going to be the thing that gets someone out of the MLM, like, if anyone from the Empire is actually watching this and this isn't going to be the thing that gets you out, I hope that at least you can consider that, like, this is the science and this and the facts, and go get yourself, do a heavy metal panel. It's not horribly expensive, especially if you have insurance. I think I would rather have that and have the reassurance that no, I am okay, than for me to just blow it off and be like, no, this is stupid, that's not real, I'm fine, and then later on down the road find out, because you could not even necessarily stop your intake of these things, but you could lower it to a much better thing if this isn't going to be the thing that gets you out of the, in my opinion, a scam. But I mean, it's hard to break that cycle, but I hope that for everyone's health, that they'd be willing to at least consider this.
Yeah, and I think having a heavy metal panel done, going to the doctor and saying, "Hey, I'd like to be tested for heavy metals." That's not a common thing. And also when you look at some of these symptoms that Karina listed, those are the acute symptoms. I'm curious what the chronic symptoms could be. From what I had read, they're pretty generic. So I worry that people would really have to battle to get those done. But, do it. If you're having symptoms and you can't figure out, if there's something going on and you can't figure out, you take somebody with you that can battle it out with you or whatnot.
Yeah, because you're probably more likely to see heavy metal panels in places that have lead water issues, like think Flint, Michigan, and all those places, where we're still struggling with lead levels in certain things, so you're more likely to see it there. But Holly, you have a great point. Children can't consent to being given these supplements, and that's why it truly concerns you.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm hoping some of the parents out there that may be giving their children these ketones, if you're not going to test your kids, at least test yourself as a baseline, and then kind of go from there. But it's going to build up in a child quicker than it's going to build up in an adult. And everything we've talked about so far right now with servings and sizes has been for a reproductive aged female, based on what the FDA and all those people say. So an adult. Children levels, infant levels for lead are much lower.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of these comments. Yeah, and you can go to the CDC website. There's part of the reason that I needed to take the time was because we had a lot of research that we needed to do, because finding the information was challenging at times, because what I wanted to do, I wanted a chart like this that showed, this is the amount, and yeah, it was challenging at times, I guess. So the thing that I thought was really interesting was the different lead levels within these three products. I know that Katie kind of already covered that, but I find it interesting that in the NAT formula that they did make the adjustments, it looks like, because NAT only had 0.018 parts per million of lead, and then the max formula had 0.041 parts per million of lead. Yeah. So, I'm glad that they're making changes, it looks like. But again, this is 3 products out of however many that they now offer, so I have to parent one moment. Take over.
Okay, hi, welcome to my stream now. Yep. Can this chart be given to the FTC for reporting the company or no? I mean, technically it could, but also this isn't... Their butt's kind of covered with this one, to be honest. This isn't above the acceptable levels at the current moment. And I don't know what the time frame is for them to be held accountable for things that happened in the past. But I think it's kind of more important to go with the FDA, because the FDA purposely doesn't give you like a hard level line so that they can do it on a case-by-case basis.
And that's one of the things, too, that in the lawsuit with the ERC in the state of California, Pruvit has agreed that every year they're going to be tested for these again. So I don't know what that looks like or when that's going to be done. So that's interesting, considering, we still are seeing these amounts. And they're lower than the FDA standards that we have found, but they are still not really compliant with Prop 65. So, yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, it's every state has something different. There's really no federal level in the US, and especially for supplements. Supplements are such an unregulated wildfire that you need to really do your research before you take a supplement. Just popping it, even not even just MLM products, but over the counter. Like, you don't actually know what you're getting in those bottles.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, there's baby quail out here. They're my favorite. Sorry, I get distracted. If you see me going like this, probably because it's either my cat or baby quail. Anyways.
Or the cat looking at the baby quail.
Or the cat looking at the baby quail, or her just being cute in general. Yeah. This has nothing to do with it, but Katie and I were talking about it earlier because I feel like we covered everything we needed to cover. Do you feel like that, Katie?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so Katie is going with her friend on Saturday to look at cats. Katie only has one cat, and I feel like her cat needs a friend. And so she told her friend, hey, don't let me come home with another cat. But I feel like she needs another cat. I feel like her cat needs a friend.
Harmony needs
I'm
a friend.
just curious what you guys think in the chat. If she should get another
Does Harmony
cat.
need a kitten?
Yeah. Put a cat in the comments. Yeah. How am I feeling about this? Yeah. See, cats need friends. Yes. How are you feeling about this, Erin? At first, before I really understood and talked to Katie and a host of other people who could explain parts per million and all that stuff, I was in a panic. I think I've talked about this before, but I am tracking people, and it could be totally unrelated. It could be total coincidence. I'm not. Yeah. Anyways, but I am tracking people that I know of that have been a part of Pruvit, consumed their products, and had or have cancer of some sort. I just, for some reason, I felt like I needed to track that. So, yeah, so I was a little panicked, but then Katie talked me off the ledge.
Yup.
And she was like, honestly, Erin, these are not that bad. She said, I was expecting worse. So this is good, but then also explained everything that she's explained to you guys. Everybody's going to have different tolerances and things like that. And so I feel content. We have our answer. I'm glad that we have our answer. Yep. And I'm glad that all of us can come together and talk about this and show the results from a lab. Yeah.
Maybe correlation, it may not be causation, but yeah, did you hear us talking about you, huh? But you want a friend?
Yes.
But even someone earlier in the chat mentioned that their sister or something was an ex-rep, and she sent this link to people that she had known because she wanted them to make sure that they had this stuff, so.
I love that. How many ketone packs was your team encouraged to drink a day? There were different combinations. One of the examples that I gave was we would mix lime thyme, raspberry lemonade, MCT 143, and the electrolytes. So it was 4 different products, 2 different packets of ketones. And that was like the morning brain blaster. I can't remember exactly what we called it, but if you were at an event, you were drinking way more products. You were mixing up ketones all the time because, you're not eating a whole lot and you're trying to keep your energy up. And in my opinion, now that I can look back and remember all this stuff, it's like, I just feel like it's an expensive energy drink that, yeah. So I
wouldn't want to drink the same thing that much.
Yeah.
What a boring thing.
Yeah.
Even with all those flavors.
Yeah.
Did they taste good?
They tasted okay to me.
Right.
Yeah, they tasted.
Did they taste like metal? No.
Did they taste like lead? No.
Could you taste it going down?
I love this. Chance one more cat, one more cat, one more cat, or 2.
You're not getting 2, Harmony. Sorry.
Yeah, and I agree with this, Karina. If the reps don't stop taking the ketones, I hope at least they stop giving them to their kids. And if there's somebody that's pregnant, I hope that they stop drinking it and that they take it to their doctor, or maybe just stop drinking them altogether when you're pregnant and or nursing, because I've seen far too many distributors within Pruvit saying that it's safe for pregnancy, it's safe for when you're nursing, and just because it's quote unquote okay for one person doesn't mean it's going to be okay for the next person. And that's the part that I think is dangerous about this. Yeah.
See, everything is great in moderation except cocaine, is what my high school biology teacher taught me.
Okay.
That, and if you ever get in a car accident, ask for a plastic surgeon. Those are the two things she taught me. But I still keep that very close to my heart. Everything is okay in moderation.
Yeah.
And that's the key point. Moderation.
Yeah.
Not 7 packets of ketones in one live stream.
Yeah, or a keto up and the Mexican formula of ketones, electrolytes, and all kinds of crazy stuff together.
Everyone hears you, Harmony. Don't worry.
Harmony. You want a friend.
Don't listen to her, Harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I bought extra cat food just in case, okay?
You already knew.
The litter box is already big enough for 2, believe me.
You already knew, friend.
I know.
I love that. All right, everybody. Oh, they want to see the baby.
You want to come here? Come here. Let me see if I can get this low enough to get her.
Luna's in her little cat hammock living her best life, so.
Come here. Yeah, big little paw. Say hi.
Aww.
Say hi. Yeah, hi.
Aww.
You're like, that hand's not petting me, though.
I feel like this is a perfect time, like a perfect palate cleanser. There was a lot of weight with this live stream.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the interaction. I'm glad that we could, bring this information to everybody and do with it what you need. If you feel like you need something, and don't forget to, what's different about the Mexican ketones? I think if I remember correctly, it's the sweetener that is different. It's a liquid version. And if I remember right, they couldn't use the sweetener that they use here, which I think is stevia leaf. They couldn't use that in Mexico, so they had to come up with a different sweetener for it. So from what I remember, that was like, they had to reformulate that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but anyways. Yeah, okay. Katie, appreciate you being here. And thank you for talking me off the ledge multiple times.
You're welcome.
And thank you guys for being here. Make sure that you like the stream. Subscribe to both channels. And we'll see you on
Don't join an MLM.
See you on the next live stream. Don't join an MLM. And if you're in Pruvit, just leave. What she said. But
go to a doctor and leave.
Think about this. Think about what you're doing and step back for a second. And by the way, if you are somebody that is going through people's followers or who they're following, and you come across people that are watching anti-MLM content, and you have the audacity to message said person and say, why are you following this person? How dare you? Maybe take a step back, because what you're doing is out of the bite model. You're trying to control the behavior. You're trying to control the information. That's a
little culty.
That's a cult tactic. So maybe don't do that.
Culty.
That happened today, by the way. That is a real story. So please don't do that to people that you are close with. Maybe before you send that message asking why they're following an anti-MLM content creator, maybe step back and say, is this normal behavior for you to say, you shouldn't be following this person? That's not normal. I wouldn't message Katie or anybody else and say, you shouldn't be following this person. You're trying to control the behavior. You're trying to control the information. That's not okay. It's not normal behavior. Step back, pause, and ask yourself why you think that is okay. What are you trying to accomplish?
Sam says a Young Living team was doing that to me.
It's so crazy.
I can be friends with someone that's in an MLM and still absolutely despise how they get their money.
Yeah. There's two
things can be the same at once.
Absolutely. There's plenty of people that I follow on social media that are in an MLM, Doesn't mean I support what they're doing, because y'all know, but, you know, maybe one day they'll wake up, you know?
Someday.
Imagine, why do you follow this person? They're speaking out against my company. Hi? What?
Have you ever considered that you might be in a cult?
Yeah, maybe you should. Look up the bite model. Highly suggest that. Yeah, anyways. Okay, that's all I got. Anything from you, Katie? Anything else you want to say?
No.
I can't wait for you to tell us the name of your kitten you get this weekend. I'm very excited about that.
Oh my God. Final update Instagram.
Yes, please. And the Discord. Okay. Thank you.
And the Discord, of course.
All right. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. And don't join an MLM, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Bye, everybody.